Okay guys, today we are going to be doing some reviews on some camera arms. As you see right here, we've got the Muddy. I don't know which one it is. It's kind of the middle size Muddy. We've got the Crossfire Arm. We've got the 4th Arrow Arm. And we've got the big Muddy right here. The one that I've been using for a number of years. I like it, but it's kind of heavy. So, let's try to make a decision here in the backyard, and you guys can make your own decision, and I guess I'll kind of make mine, and I don't know, I might use 1 or 2 or 3 different arms this year until I really find the one that fits me best. Alright guys, let's go. Alright guys, first we're going to be putting up the Crossfire Arm here. It was the one closest to me, so it does come to where you can break it down into 2 pieces. And one thing I like about it is it's not that heavy at all, so I do like that feature. So let's kind of see how it fits on this tree here. I picked a tree that's not exactly perfect. You know, it's not a tree that probably most guys would try to use for hunting. It's some evergreen tree back here in the backyard, but it's what I had. And you definitely have a lot of cord on this one. Typically one thing I will do is cut a good portion of that cord off. I mean, obviously you don't want to cut too much off to where you won't have enough for when you get in the tree, but I don't think you always need 10 or 12 feet worth of cord. So get this out here. All right, okay, one more. Let's get one more. So basically with this here, it does have some adjustability here to it. I don't know if you can see the bottom here. So one thing I can do, I can push this out. If I screw it in, it's going to push the bottom out, where I can flip it over and do the exact opposite with the top part. So let's get it screwed on here first and see how level we are. We'll see how easy it is to kind of set up. One concern I kind of have about this arm is that this knob that I'm turning, it's on the back side here. So, you know, if you have a knot on a tree, that might be kind of tough. So, all right, let's see here. Right now, I need to get it just a little bit more level here. Bubble is up to the high side, needs to go down. So this one, for instance, right now, I can already tell that it's actually mosquitoes. It needs to be flipped. So what I'd have to do here, and this is not the case with every tree, I'm telling you, but I just want to show you what I'd have to do here. That way I'm not sugarcoating anything. It's still a good tree arm, I think. It's just that sometimes the way this is set, and based on the tree here, I'm going to have to turn this one upside down so that I can adjust the top part. I'm going to try to keep this bottom part around that same area right there. See, again, I don't really even want to know why you have to have something that's got 20 feet worth of cord on it. You know, I guess it's probably, if I was to design an arm, probably make sure if I sold a ratchet strap with it, probably wouldn't use one that's like 10 feet long. I don't, you know what, I may have bought this one myself, I don't know, but I'm just so picky about things, and if I'm going to sell something to a customer, you know, you always want to think about every little thing, because I can tell you with every one of these arms, even the attachments or accessories, you can pick them apart. So you know, I don't want to be too picky, but when you're in the woods, I've always said that if something can go wrong, anything can go wrong, and you don't want to have a lot of issues with your camera arm. But overall, I still like this arm. All right, let's see here. Actually, it's my fault here. Let me get this thing turned. Alright, so let me get it on here. Try this out again. Okay, let's get her placed here. I'm in the same spot here. Try and get the little strap turned. You get turned on me. Alright, so let's get her tightened up. See what I'm doing here. This is not perfect, guys, but when you're hunting, I can tell you one thing. I may not have that strap. I don't know if you can see that exactly right, but I could probably twist it to get it a little bit better. But all right, so one thing I need to do now with this arm, I need to flip it over real quick. The bubble is right here. Alright, so on this one right now, I need to loosen it up just a touch. Driving the tree. I'm trying to get the bubble just right. The bubble always wants to go to the high side. See, again, I don't want to sugarcoat anything. About right. Okay, that's pretty close right there. All right. Let me see if I can slide this here just a little bit closer here for you. Okay, I've got my float head here. Let me kind of push it here for you just a little bit here. All right, guys. So one thing I always want to make sure is when I'm looking at a tree arm, I want to make sure it's sturdy and it's not going to move on me once I get some weight on the arm itself. So let me get this screwed on here. I use a Manfrotto, whatever it's called. 501 is what I use. It's got what do you call it, 2 sides to it here, so it's a really good sturdy head. So let me get this on here. My lens on this camera weighs probably, I bet it weighs a couple of pounds anyhow. This is a big boy or heavy lens, but it probably costs more than the camera does, but it's a great lens that I love. So it was worth the investment for me. So it's all right, guys. So one thing that I want to make sure, I'm going to look here at this bubble, see if it moves at all. it doesn't move. All right, so let's keep that in mind. That's one good thing I do like about the arm, the Crossfire arm. You know, I did have a little bit of challenges with setting it up, but overall it's not moving, and it's light. And as you see here, it's got 3 different sections of the arm. Some have 2, some have 3. I kind of like the 3 area here, and he's got cutouts here too to kind of take out some of the weight. But it's sturdy, it's not moving. Overall, you can kind of get it adjusted just to your liking here. So like I might take that and just loosen it up just a little bit too here. Alright, so things I may not like as much about it. I can tell you one thing I had to do. The bottom bolt here that's going to hold your flood head that you'll be using, it wasn't secured. It wasn't, I guess you could say, I guess it wasn't tack welded, and it didn't have a knob here. So one thing I had to do is, first of all, when I was trying to get the camera flood head off the first go around, I kept having a lot of issues because the boat would want to turn on me, and then I couldn't, therefore I couldn't get the flood head off because the flood head was turning with the boat. So that was not a good thing. So let me put this here. So I'll show you here in a second what I did. I actually got online. Well, I had 2 things. I went and I got some super glue, some bonding, some goat tough glue, plus something else, and I glued that nut. And I guess JB Weld or something like that might work too. So I glued it to where it wouldn't move. And I also, let me try to get this off here. I also got online, got on Amazon.com, and I ordered a little stub head. I think it's a 9/16 is what I use. Head. And let me see if I can unscrew this here so you guys can see. But I will say this is this you know, the arm has grown on me a little bit. At first I didn't know if I'd like it or not, but overall I love how light it is, and on most trees, you know, I'm not going to have to worry about that. But as far as what I just did, once you get used to it, I think that might be easier. So what I did here, I got black electrical tape, and I got this little 9/16, I'm pretty sure is what it was, stub head, little, can you see that right there? I can't, wrench here, and I kind of put it on the screw itself, and I wrap tape around it so I can hold this. And this little screw right here, the nut bolt is not going to move. That way I can get my flood head off. So I might tell the manufacturers, hey, you know, if you would either come up with something where you've got a knob you can hold on to so that it's not going to turn on you, or you can tack weld it or whatever else, just so that it's secure. But this is the base, and it's so light, and it folds up just like that. So portability, having something that's light and sturdy that will not move is huge, huge, huge. So let's keep that in mind. So that's the Crossfire base. And all right, let's give me a second. Let me turn this camera off for a second, then I'll get the other one started. Okay guys, now we're going to try the muddy. I will make sure that I look all this stuff up before I post the video so you guys can see. But this is the little muddy arm here. So let's see how it works. It's kind of the middle size one. I can't remember what it's called, but let's see how she works compared to the other one. So the other one I had a little bit of trouble trying to get it, you know, on the tree and set. So this one here, I do like one feature. Well, I know what I may not like here in a minute, but it does have an easy way to get it attached to the arm here, to the base here. You kind of, this little, can you see that right there? That little screw thing. All right, that's kind of like the tree or the lone wolf stands. It's kind of like a button. I guess it's kind of a heavy-duty plastic piece that's they use. So one thing I didn't notice, the cord's a whole lot shorter here. So, you know, I would probably encourage any manufacturer, you know, if you're going to ship out a ratchet strap. I just don't think it needs to be 12 feet long, 10 feet, whatever it might be. So let's try to get it working here. Make sure you guys can see what I'm doing here. By the way, normally I've got better audio, but I'm having trouble with one of my devices right now. Okay, so that's already halfway set up. Make sure she's tight. All right, it's pretty tight right there. All right, let's get it level. One thing about the muddies, they do have a little, I love how they are adjustable. Let's get this pretty close here first. All right, right now the bubble is leveled there. Get the bubble down to the middle. Almost there. There again, I don't want to sugarcoat anything for you guys, so you know kind of how this stuff works when you're in the woods. All right, so one thing I see here, okay, it does seem to be secure. That little piece right here, can you see that? Right there. That way, it shouldn't turn when you're trying to get the flood head on or off. So let's get the flood head on. And if I don't seem like I'm looking at you right here, I've got a monitor above the camera, and that's what I catch myself looking at. So you might be like, what's he looking at? So let's get this on here. My flood head probably weighs a good 1.5 pounds, I bet. I wouldn't be surprised. All right, see that there? Let's get the A7 III on here. And this is the 28 to 135 lens. It's an f4. All right, so there again, it's kind of sturdy. All right, we're going to see if this thing moves, okay? All right, one thing that I'm not fond of, I can just tell you already, is this arm. To me, it does move. Maybe if I had another 3 or 4 pounds of a lighter camera, but by the time you get your mic and everything else on here, you'll have some weight on this arm. You don't want this. You don't want this camera. You don't want this camera A to fall on you. A couple years ago, I had about $5,000 worth of camera gear that almost fell out of a tree, and I was not a happy camper. So right now, one thing I'm noticing is this bubble is all over the place. See how it's turning here? It's not turning much. But if I had a strong wind, I can tell you that camera would probably keep on turning. The last thing you want to have happen is when you're on a deer, on a buck, he's coming. If you've got a 12-mile-per-hour wind or 15-mile-per-hour wind, you don't want that camera sliding on you as you're drawing on that buck, because that will happen. I can tell you right now. Because, but that's what I'm seeing already. This camera is, can you see that right there? It's turning, and I got this thing tight. I was on another tree here a while back, and I had the same issue with it. So, muddy, I guess, guys. If I were you guys, right here, I don't know if you can see that. You need more surface area. You need this. Ratchet strap material to cover more surface area. Right now it's kind of, it goes around one little part here, and it's like a pivot point. So this camera arm can do that number with you. You don't want that. I mean, if I can see that within 3 to 5 minutes of putting it on, I know someone else can see that. So I can tell you right now, if I'm going to sell something, I want to make sure that whoever I sell it to, they're going to be happy with it, and they're not going to have any issues with the camera. So it's rated, I think, for like 8 pounds. This is not 8 pounds, so that's one thing to remember. I do like how easy it is to set up. That's for sure. It is light, this model, but again, I don't care how light it is, how easy it is to set up. You don't want to lose that camera gear if you have a lot invested, or you don't want to miss that shot on that animal once you get it, getting into full draw, and you can't reach over to get that camera off. So that's this little muddy here. So. See, I don't know if you see it right there. See how it's turning? It shouldn't be doing that. Alright. So, it was easy to set up. Let's give it that. It is light. But as I said, you don't want to lose that kill shot, and you don't want to have that camera arm lean down and fall out of the tree, because it can happen, and I'm sure it's happened to a lot of people. So, all right, try to get it. All right, that's that one. Let me give my camera a break here and turn this off for a second. Okay guys, now we're going to try the 4th arrow base. I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, I had some issues with this base. Okay, when I bought the base, this is called the run and gun base. All right, it came with these two levers here. Okay, swivels. They went around the boat here area, one on each side. I don't know if you can see that. And the ratchet strap would hook. It would hook right on to each of these swivels. See that right there? Everything's in reverse when you're looking at it on camera. So, but when the ratchet strap would attach to these points here, it's kind of like that muddy, and it was like a pivot point. Okay, there wasn't enough surface area on this piece here on the swivels, and this thing would go all over the place on me. So that was kind of an issue that I had. So what I did, I went to Tractor Supply, kind of made my own little thing up here, and let me get it set up here. I'll kind of show you how I show you guys how I did it. You know, basically I went to Tractor Supply, I got my own ratchet strap, took the swivels off, and I think this is more like their true base that they sell. I don't know what to call them, because I wanted to see if the base would work if it didn't have the little swivel doohickeys, whatever they're called. So, all right, let's get the same thing set up here. And again, I've got quite a bit of cord here. If I saw I didn't need that all the time in the woods, I'd be cutting some of it out or off. And I found these ratchet straps, the ones I got were called quiet straps or something like that. So they're not as loud. I keep thinking they'll come up with something so that when you're in the woods, you don't have that loud ratchet strap thing going on. Because in the mornings, you know how it is when you're trying to get set up and you got that little click, 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 click. A couple years ago, I spooked off a really nice buck just because of that. So this is kind of quiet. I do like that. So, all right, let me get it kind of tight here. I'd say that's about as tight as I'm gonna get it right there. All right, so another thing here, this little thing, I hope you can see that. It comes with the 4th arrow bases. It's kind of like a screwdriver without the head on it, and it goes in this little piece back here in the back. You have a little ball head that you can kind of tighten up or loosen up, and you can get it level, which I do like. It does help you get it level pretty easy. One thing I wish they would do is this is almost there's a little plastic part on the top. It's almost big enough to go in the hoe. Well, it wasn't, and I actually got some sandpaper and sanded mine down here to where I could get this to fit in the hoe. But it'd be nice, you know, if they had a way to kind of put this somewhere where it doesn't ding on something. I can't tell you how many times I was trying to put this thing up and it would hit everything. And you know what, like I say, in the mornings when it's dark, you can't see anything. That can happen all the time. So so I got it to where at least I can kind of put it in here and it doesn't move as bad. So all right, let me get the base here. So here's the base. We're going to see if that little fix I did by taking the swivels off to see if that helped. All right, I'm hoping it will work. Let me get the this base off the other one here real quick. All right, guys, let's put this on here. I really want to like this arm too, so I'm hoping that if I like this base, I'll buy more bases. I just know the run and gun setup I had, I was not at all happy, but this might be a whole lot better here. We'll see. So let's do a little test run here. Let's get the camera up. As you see, it was pretty easy to set up there. Very easy to level out. So now I go, well, as you see, that's not good. Let me do two things. Let me tighten this up more. Alright, got a little bit of movement here. Let me see if I can tighten it up a little bit more. Alright, I'm not going to do any more tighter than that. There's no need to go crazy. I don't have much movement in that bubble. I do have a little bit. Like I say, there's just a slight bit of movement, but not too bad. I would probably want to use this 3 or 4 times, and just to make sure that it's not going to move on me. But right there, it looks to be pretty good. There again, it's a whole lot better than the run and gun setup I had, because I'm telling you, I tried in so many trees, straight trees, you name it, that I didn't have any issues with the trees, and it would just do this number all the time. So I hope this system here works better. I think it will. So, but I guess all that's to say, and you know, one more thing, guys, I can see I could do here. I just need to make sure that top piece is, that ratchet strap probably just needs to be towards the top when you put this in. I think that'll help out too. I think that was a big part of it. Yeah, that seemed to help out. So that's the 4th arrow arm. Not bad if you have the right bases here, I'd say. So I may end up trying to get another couple of bases. And one more thing that's very important is customer service. I won't get on a tangent, but I just will say, you know, I have had some challenges. If I'm going to call a company and say I've got issues with something, man, it's great when a company bends over backwards for anybody, and we try to do that with BOWADX. You know, if you have a challenge with a shirt or something else, trust me, we're going to fix you up, because I want every single person happy, every customer happy, and I want to treat everybody the same way I want to be treated. So that's just a kind of a thing to say to everybody. You know, let's try to work together as hunters to make sure we all try to be on the same page and put out good products. But so far, so good overall on the products. You know, they all have their plus and minuses. Finally, we're going to go to the one I've used for probably 3 years now. It's the Big Boy Muddy one. I can't remember what it's called. Again, I'll find that out and kind of put it on the side somewhere here. I do know I like it, but I do know it's extremely heavy. I mean, heavy, but it won't move on me. So I'll show you guys what that is in just 1 second. All right, guys, so here is the big boy that I use. And again, it's got to be a full pound and a half heavier than the others. But I will say one thing I like: this cord here, this strap here. See how big that is? I think that's a 2-inch wide strap here. I'm trying to get towards kind of halfway focus for you guys. So I do like that. And you know, I like that it's a good heavy duty base that you don't have to worry about moving on you. Now if I'm in a tree, normally I've kind of got it down to the side like so, but I'm trying to get it to where you guys can see me put this thing up. And you know, this ratchet strap is not that long. It's long enough for some good sized trees, but it's not too long to where you got to pull, you know, 8 or 10 feet of cord out to get it, you know, to get it halfway to where it needs to be to tighten it up. So all right, let's get it down. Hear that? Can you hear that little clicking sound? Let me get it here just a little bit more. This thing has served me pretty well over the years. I can't say much bad about it, besides it being heavy. So all right, pretty good there. Let's get the base. Alright. One thing about the base is I don't know what they sprayed this with, but this all it all comes apart. Actually, if you kind of see what I have, let me show you my other base I use. All right, as you see here, this is actually the base that I use. I've got it camouflaged up. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna make a big difference, but I was always afraid that if that sun's shining down and it sees it gets on some of that metal, that it's gonna cause a little bit of a glare, and that would not be good. All right, this is already halfway level. One thing about these right here, I love this little adjustment piece as well. So you always, there again, that bubble is always going to go to the high side. So if you see it on this side of the base, or the little thing here level, you always want to make make your bubble follow what's going to be the highest point when you're trying to get it level. Almost done here. Sorry. Sometimes I need to get it adjusted here, guys. I got that thing tight the last time I had it on there. Alright, pretty good right there. That's pretty good. Alright, let's get the camera on here and the base. Where'd I put it? Let me take it off this one. I always say, one more thing, guys. You know, most of my bases that I buy come off of eBay. This 501, it's heavy, but if you do have a decent amount of camera weight on this arm, you really do need to have a pretty heavy duty base, I'm telling you, and a good flood head. I think I spent like 90 bucks, 95 bucks with this one, and I think it came with a tripod. It may have been like 120, I don't know, but it came with a really nice tripod. It was an not old, but it was a used newscasting setup. So you can find these all day long, or a lot of times you can find these on eBay, and they were pretty doggone good. So all right, she's pretty tight right there. Level. I keep on putting this thing higher and higher and higher. Holy smokes. All right, like I say, I've got it so high now. Let me just kind of do this right here for you guys. Get it in halfway in line here. Okay, so one thing we want to do, we want to make sure there's no movement. Put some pressure here, no movement. That bubble staying where it needs to be. All right, can you see that right there? All right, so I will say, as far as movement in the arm, this is probably my favorite one, because I know when I get it set, it's not going to move on me. I've used it for years. It is great, but if you're going to be hauling in a lot of gear when you're hunting public ground, public land, you know, hiking up tall hills, it can get really tough. I think if I were to use one of the others, I'd probably save, I don't know, probably at least 2 or 3 pounds of weight, maybe, which is huge. You don't think of it that way, but it's huge when you're packing in. So that's one big thing to think about. So so let's see here, guys. What are my final thoughts? For me, oh man, I know this is kind of my old go-to here because I've used it for years. It's worked well. I'm not fond of the step down from this muddy. I would be maybe if I brought an extra ratchet strap, where I'd have more tension against the surface area of the mount or the base. See how this one right here? I don't know if you can see that, guys. Let me just see if you can kind of see that right there. But there is. Well, let me get this out of the way. The camera's trying to focus on that. So I'm trying to get the focus here. Focus. There we go. All right. But right in here, there is a. Let me try to get it here. There is a. Well, it doesn't want to focus. Well, now I've got to see. I'm using a different. You can't see that, but I've got a different base on this right here, so it's not strong enough for the camera. And that can happen if you don't have a strong enough base. That camera's going to tilt on you. So you got to have a strong enough camera base or fluid head too. But right here, this strap It's heavy duty, and it covers a lot of surface area on the base. I think every consumer or every manufacturer needs to make sure that you have a lot of surface area that's being pulled against that base to keep it from tilting right and left. So, all right, so let me get back to it real quick. All right, guys, so what's it gonna be that I'm using? Am I in focus? Yeah. I will probably this year, oh wow, I'll probably give that fourth arrow one more try when I start. The Crossfire, I do like it too, so I may give it a shot. I think I'll be happy with that one. There again, I had some challenges trying to get it set up, so that might be a little issue there. But I'll say I'll probably start with the fourth arrow, but if you use a fourth arrow, I'd recommend not using the run and gun. Make sure you use their tried and true bases. I might watch the muddy one, the second one down. If you have it, either make sure that you don't have a lot of camera weight on that, or maybe use an extra ratchet strap to make sure it's not gonna it won't go anywhere on you. I know the guys at Crossfire, they do really good. They're super nice guys too. The guy, I forget his name, that owns the company, he's always been good to me. So, but the Crossfire is one you don't hear about, but it's a really good base. There again, it's super light. I think once you get used to that one, it'll be a good base for you. This big muddy, it's going to be an awesome base. It's just heavy. So so I don't know, guys. I mean, man, out of all the ones I tried, that middle muddy, that little mid-sized muddy one, that's the one that gave us the most movement. So I would say be careful with that one. I don't know if I would recommend that one. So so you got basically any of these three here. The big one, the fourth arrow with the right base, should be okay. And the Crossfire, maybe if I didn't have I probably bought that. I bet I bought that ratchet strap, but it's like 14 feet long. It was just too long. But if I had the right size strap and got used to that one, to be fine too. So I hope that helps out, guys. I mean, there again, there's a lot of choices. I guess you'll have to see what I might have in the tree this year with me, but I'm going to make sure that whatever I have, that it does work. If not, I will be selling it on eBay as well. So guys, thanks so much for watching, and remember, God loves you. Wherever you're at in life right now, God's still got big plans for you. You just got to put that right foot forward. Finally, if you haven't checked BOWADX Archery Apparel out, I'm the founder, I'm the owner, and I'd love to have you guys check us out. This is kind of our new cap. I don't know if you can even see that right there, if it's kind of halfway, is it halfway focused? But we're faith-based. That's kind of what we're built on. We have mainstream tees, faith-based tees, but they're all good tees, and we try to support a lot of good causes, and we just love archery. And again, thanks for watching, guys, and until next time, I'll catch you here in hopefully in a tree somewhere. It's almost bow season. See you guys.